Okay, so one more time. So the constructor of student calls the constructor of the person, which is the superclass. And since the person constructor needs three values to initialize its three instance variables, so that's the job of the constructor of the student, which is to pass the three values the constructor of person needs. Okay, so this statement right here is calling of the constructor of the superclass, which is the constructor of the person, which is this one. Okay, and then the last two local variables right here must be passed, or assigned. The values of the two local variables right here must be assigned to these two instance variables, and we can do that by doing these assignment operations right here. So very simple, right? Okay, so we're done with the constructor of students of the student class. So it's time to do the Mutator method. So since I have two instance variables, so ideally I have at least two Mutator methods, one for major and one for credit hour. So let me do first the set major. So it needs one value to change the initial value of the major, and of course just one assignment operation right here, and the next and the last set method or Mutator method is let me call it let's set credit hour, just to make it shorter, and it needs one value, which is the new credit hour, and that is assigned to the instance variable credit hour. So I'm done with the constructor, and I'm done with the two set methods. Now it's time for me to start creating two get methods or accessor methods. So let me start with get major. Okay, so it simply returns the major, and last but not least the, let me call it get credit hours, or let me just say hours, make it shorter. Okay, so it returns credit hour. Okay, and last but not least the toString. So public string toString. So what is this supposed to return? So what does this toString method supposed to return? So it returns the object representation of student, and since student technically or logically has name, age, and ID as well, like what we have in person, so it returns those as well. So let's start. But where can we find those values? Where can we find the name, the age, and the ID? They are in person, right? And there's already a toString that handles that, that does that, which is here. So all I have to do is I just let this toString call the toString of the superclass. So how to do that? Super.toString. So when you run this code, and when this statement is executed, you will see, if you display the return value, you will see this, the name, the age, and the ID. So you don't have to do it explicitly like this, like name, Okay, you don't have to do it again because you already did this in the superclass. But since you didn't know, since you don't have any idea how to do it yet, so you might do this. Okay, you might be thinking of doing this. So where can we get the name? It's here, right? Who returns the name? Get name. So let's call, toString calls get name method plus the age, okay, and etc. etc. But you have done it already in the toString of the super. So do not do it again. You are just gonna waste your time if you do this. So what can you do? So you just let this toString in the sub call the toString of the super, because the super the toString of the super does that, does the returning of the name, the age, and the ID thingy, right? So just call the toString of the super, meaning to say the toString of the super class is called. That's what it means. Next, followed by the major. So let me just write a label major so it would be much clearer. So let me put major in the next line. So where can we get the major? You can, since it's in the same class, so you might use the instance variable, or appropriately, ideally, you can toString can call the get major method, okay, to return the major. And next, the last but not least, the returning of the credit hour. Okay, so calling of the method right here, and toString is done. So the subclass is also done. Okay, so now it's time to check. It's time to test if these two classes are working. So how can I test if this class is working? So I have to create another class. Let me call it Person&Student test. So this is the one with the main method. So this is the application. So again, this is the class to test if the two classes are working. Okay, so I want to create an object of student. I want to know if student class is working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an object of student. Let me call it stud, and student followed by a pair of parentheses. But let's go to student. Student has 5 parameters. So in other words, since when we do this, by the way, one more time, if we do this object creation thingy, the constructor of student is called. So since constructor has 5 parameters, therefore there must be 5 arguments inside the parentheses, and they should be of the same type. Okay, so the first parameter here in the constructor of student is name. So the first one right here must be of type string. Let's say student1. Okay, so followed by the second parameter in student constructor is int of a, which is of type int. So a is age. So let's say 18. The third parameter in the constructor of student is of type int, which is the ID. So the third argument here must be of type int as well. So let's say ID number 111. And then in the constructor of a student is of type string, which is the major. So let's put some string right here. Let's say computer science. And then last but not the least, the last argument in student constructor is of type double, which is the credit hour. So let's say credit hours, maybe 5.5. It's just an example. Okay, so I'm done creating an object of student class. So if I want to print the everything, I mean the name, the age, the ID, the major, and the hours, all I have to do is to call the toString, because that's the one who returns everything, right? And how to do that? So using the reference variable stud followed by the name of the method, which is toString. Where is toString? Stud. Where is toString? Right here. There you go. So, but since toString returns, remember it returns a string, so the caller can print the return value of this method call here. So let's put this inside sysout statement, and when I run this, we will see everything the toString returns. So where is my run? There you go. So this is the output down here. There you go. Now, so I just found out that student class is working. Now let me test if the person class is working. So let me create an object of person. Let me call it person, the reference variable. I call it person. And to create an object of person, so again, when you do this, the constructor of person is called. So constructor of person accepts 3 values. Okay, so in other words, the caller must pass the 3 values as well. So let me just copy paste this, and the name of this is person, for example. The age is 44, and the ID may be the government ID or whatever ID this person has. Let's say 5 blah blah blah. Okay, and then to call the toString of person to return everything, simply, of course, using the reference person to call the toString of person. So where is the toString? Right here. There you go. And since toString, again, it returns a string, so we can display the return value of that by using the sysout statement. And when I run this, we shall see both the students, the computer executes this, and after that, computer executes this. So we shall see two objects, one student and one person. So let's try. There you go. So this is for the student, and this is for the person. Now let me display a line, so there would be space between them. Okay, one more time. Let's run it again. There you go. So this is what we call inheritance. So I hope everything is clear. I hope I was able to explain this concept clearly. Thank you for watching. Bye bye for now.